Hello, everybody. Welcome to this closeout of Women Histories Month, our roundtable of just women in control and shattering glass ceilings. I'm Reka. I'm gonna be your moderator for this panel. But before I jump into it and we get into these amazing women and what they do and have some good old girl talk, I just want to make mention that, man, we've come a long way. Since 1970, we had about 50% of just single women in the workforce. 40% were married in the workforce. And now we are at the pinnacle. I wouldn't even say the pinnacle. We're at the top where we have now us, women of all colors, shapes, and sizes contributing to the workforce. How amazing is that? And for me, I was like, let me give a round of applause because I think we
Yes,
don't give ourselves any credit.
yes.
Like, we are doing it out in these streets. So let me go ahead and give a quick introduction to everybody on the panel and let's get to know them a little bit before we jump into questions, right? So we have Morgan, we got Jay, Gabrielle, we go by Gabby, we have Michelle, and we have Danielle. Morgan, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, everybody. So I'm Morgan Taplin. I'm the founder of Female Executives of Texas, which is a community for female minority entrepreneurs. We have memberships, events. We also have apparel as well. And so our ultimate goal is just to celebrate and educate female minority entrepreneurs. I'm also an event planner and I own Morgan Taplin Events. So we have bartending services, we have decorating services, rentals, and we're all Black female team as well. So those are my two
Mhm.
babies.
Yes, yes,
Yay.
yes.
Okay, so what inspired you to get in that career field?
Yeah, so I actually am obsessed with events and planning events. So it's really like my thing, and so I've been doing it from a young age. My mom and one of my long term best friends actually reminded me of us decorating my church's Christmas event when we were 14 years old, and so this is something that I've actually loved to do. And I'm also bossy, so I like to I like to tell people what to do. So it all works out.
No
And
Yes,
such
so
thing
from
as
started,
being
there,
bossy. You just
started.
know
right,
what you just
right.
particular. You're just
And so
particular.
from
Yeah.
there, just creating the community was a very simple thing to do. I just saw where there was a need in the city. And so I created the community in 2018. And from then, in 2018, being a boss babe, all that was like not even a thing.
Right.
That all started it went crazy during the pandemic, and now we have all these communities for women, which is amazing. But here in San Antonio, it really wasn't a thing when I started, and so that was the reason why I started, just to create that community for Black and Brown women. And we have extremely grown to the point where we can put together panels like this. So it's an awesome feeling.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get back to you. Jay, how about
Yes.
you? What's a little bit
Hey,
about you?
hey. So my name is Jay Ricks, and I'm the Chief Learning Officer and founding principal for Essence Preparatory Public School. And it's a new
Hmm.
charter school that's being built here on the east side of San Antonio. So our goal is to really bring something to the east side that hasn't been here before.
Yeah.
And although our goal is to really service, all students that come on our campus, we really want to have a focus on more specifically black and brown students because they've been so underserved in the public school sector. And so our mission for students, kinder through eighth grade, is to really develop those leading change agents within the community and prepare them, for college, military, entrepreneurship, and beyond, whatever they want to do. I'm also the CEO and founder of JL Consulting, which the vision is to educate, lead, and empower women. So the goal with that company is really to authentically serve women of color in a way that breaks those chains of low self-esteem and insecurity, self-doubt, and things like that, while also igniting a deeper sense of self-respect and love for who they were really truly created to be. So
Absolutely. That is amazing.
that's what I
I
do.
mean, hey, we'll talk offline.
Yeah.
Okay, Gabby, I'm like so thrilled and just when you are surrounded by amazing women, it should pump you up. I'm pumped.
Yes.
What you got, Gabby?
Well, how do you go after that? That
I,
Listen, and
I'm glad I'm not you. I'm glad I'm not you.
that's not what you're supposed to say, Reka.
I'm sorry.
Well, I'm Gabrielle. As Reka said, I'm Gabby. I always say, if you know me for 5 minutes, you probably call me Gabby. Whether you know me well or not, just because it comes naturally, I think. I also like to talk a lot. We'll talk about that later. So I am a marketing and branding coach. I work with minority business owners, primarily Black women, because I love us.
Yes.
I love us, and I want to see us succeed. I
Yeah.
help minority business women show up as their best selves online, in social media, and in their marketing. And with the way the world is working today, primarily marketing is on social media. So I get you together. And I think it was Rika in our session. You actually said I was a cheerleader. I was like, I am a cheerleader that you didn't know you needed, because I will hype you up and encourage you. And you'll probably want to go run a marathon when we're done with our session. Not me. Not my you can. You can. But that's what I do.
Well, what inspired you to get into the marketing and branding field?
Well, I went to college for marketing. I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I went to college. It just seemed like a smart idea to go to business school. And then I found out that I was actually good at marketing. It's what comes naturally to me without thinking about it. And for the longest, I just assumed everybody else had those same ideas and thought processes. And it just kind of clicked. And then I realized, oh no, that's not how everybody else's brain works. That's not their
Right.
strategy. So realizing that marketing is where it's at for me, and specifically branding, because I love uh, uniform and being cohesive and having all your ducks in a row, because that's where or I see the most issues is people are all over the place. Getting all those ducks in a row, being very uniform. I've worked as an planner. The most issues is people are all over the place.
Sorry,
Getting
my
all
phone
those
started going off.
I was like,
That's
what
okay. You gotta mute it. You gotta mute it.
No, the live came
Baby,
off
you are
twice.
broadcasting live.
Yes,
I said, that's me.
broadcasting live twice.
But I started actually as in social media, and I went to being a publicist and event planner, and I love all of those things. But I realized that it was just not where I was my strongest. So going into helping people and teaching them fit me better.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. Michelle,
Yes,
let's meet you.
the one who briefly interrupted you, Gabby. I apologize about that. I hit the button and my sound came on. Hi, everybody. I'm so
Hi.
I'm so happy to be here among you brilliant, beautiful women. Rika, thanks for moderating. Morgan, thanks for inviting me. So nice to meet you, ladies. I am a serial entrepreneur. I do quite a few things, but I'll just kind of narrow this down. I'm a lover of all things girl. As Gabby said, I've been cheering for women for as long as I can remember. I began cheering for women because I needed somebody to cheer for me. I was a teen mom, and at that time, nobody was cheering for me. There was, a little bit of shame involved with that. So at no time did I sit in the circumstance that I created. I just got up and started doing what I knew to do. It was always in my heart to champion for women, and so I've been doing that ever since. I say this all the time. There was no cool show, Teen Mom, 16 and Pregnant. When I was pregnant, they created this wonderful show to fund teenagers' pregnancy and made it glorified. But I look at me now. That's all I can.
Yes.
Yes.
I am a speaker. I'm a transformation coach. I teach people how to transform their life. I'm also a realtor by day. I love speaking to women. I love these types of events. I love the fact that Morgan unselfishly invited me on and has made space for me, and so I appreciate that. And that's what I love about women, that we create that community where we make space for each other and where it's always "I'll save you a seat, sis." So that's kind of where I'm vibing from. I'm so happy to be here today. And the
Oh,
reason I think I chose, I think I kind of already stated, why I chose what I did, is because I've always been an encourager. I've always been a cheerleader, a champion for women, because
Mhm.
my motto is there's a seed of greatness inside every woman. Find a woman and water her. So
Yes.
we're gonna water these women today.
Yes,
Yes.
we are.
Yes.
Love that.
Okay.
So thank you.
Danielle, can I call you Danny?
You can. People call me Danny all the time.
Let's meet you.
Okay, I don't know how I got the privilege of going last after all those amazing intros, but no, my name is Danielle Clark. So I like to call myself a corporate entrepreneur. So in the daytime, and I'm in the corporate America, I'm in e-commerce. I like to do that, and then in the nighttime, kind of like Michelle, I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I have a trucking company, I have an Airbnb, I rent trailers out, I do all kind of stuff. But and I also coach. I do career and business coaching, and that's what one of the things I'm most passionate about. Just because, like you all said, it's all about teaching women, what they can do. Women have so much power within them, but a lot of times they're just scared to tap into it. And we do this stuff every day in our normal jobs, but we're scared to do it for ourselves. So I just help women realize, the power they have within themselves, and how they can tap into that to start their own business, or just if they want to promote up the corporate ladder. I help with career coaching as well. So what inspired me to do that is, again, I've just seen, working in corporate America, I promoted up very fast. And when I did that, I noticed there wasn't a lot of women there. And a lot of time, most of the women were way more qualified than the men. But,
Mm.
Again, we don't put ourselves out there. We're scared to go for these things. We think we have to be perfect before we can get a promotion. Whereas the men are like, hey, throw me in there. I'll learn it myself. So, that was one of the driving forces in me just starting this career in business coaching business, just to help women, understand that part of their lives and make choices for the future.
Well, Danny, I will not let you be last. I will be last. And if anybody is wondering, like, oh, well, why Reka get to be the moderator? Well, I am the host and owner. I'm the owner first of JCA Media Sales. And under that platform, I have a podcast called Eat, Laugh, and Hustle. And this podcast is geared to mompreneurs and female solopreneurs that help you not only just survive in business, but thrive in business, baby. We want to be like, not, we're like, right. And so, I am a champion of making sure that we are doing more than just talking about it. We need to be walking the walk. And so I'm about elevating your mind and your body and your goals. So it's a holistic approach. And we got to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And that's what it's all about. And I think sometimes that gets lost when you are in corporate America, you are a serial entrepreneur, you're doing the day to day and trying to balance, right? And so I'm gonna throw this out to you guys. How do you maintain you? Not you in those roles, but how do you get to maintaining just me? Like in the morning, before anybody say mommy, anybody say honey, like you. How do you pour into yourself? Morgan, how about you? I'm gonna let you
For
kick it off.
me, so my dynamic is I'm similar actually to Gabby, and I don't know about Danielle or Miss J, but I know Miss Michelle, you are married. But for me, I'm a single woman, so I wake up, by myself. It's a great feeling, and so you have a moment where you're being able to self reflect. Being a planner, I'm very planny, so um, I know they say you don't wake up and you're not supposed to be on your phones, but I'm that girl. So yeah, I wake up and I'm right on the phone. And as soon as I'm on the phone, it's probably checking notifications, text, but it's straight to the to-do list, right? And so I'm always making sure my mind, before I even get out the bed, that my mind is like, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And it kind of helps not become so overwhelming with what's going on in between the businesses and the life and health and my dog and everything going on, right? Just kind of helps you be a little better with planning. So that's how I contain me. also along with God as well, and taking that moment to reflect with Him. But I also always, every morning or on routine, even on vacation, I pull out my notepad on my phone, and always kind of writing out what I'm doing for the day. But it helps me contain myself for the day and having a plan for the day and just processing it all. So that's how I do me in my morning routine before I
But you,
hit the road running.
I might let you ride, a little bit, but Mo, Texas, we want to know that still is planning. And I get it, because we all deal with the anxiety of just an agenda part of the day, especially when you are a planner, right? And you need to know, like, what do I have today? But I'm saying, how do you pour in yourself, mentally, physically? You said you reflect, as those gratitude moments. Do you take long walks, or what are some of those things that keep you kind of grounded when things are just, they say when you're in the eye of a storm, it's most calm, right? And everything else is chaotic. What is that? What is the eye of the storm for you? How about you, Jack?
That very good question. Thank you for redirecting me. I appreciate you. This is why I brought her on. I'm just saying. We wouldn't have been able to do this by ourselves, y'all. So shout out to Reka. But yeah, so for me, I rarely have a low confidence moment. I'm not saying this in any sort of way, but I think very highly of myself. So
Right.
I rarely have a moment where I'm like, something's not going right, or I don't feel myself. I rarely have those moments, if I'm being 100% with you guys in the audience. But when I do have those moments, it's bad. It's real bad, y'all, because I rarely have them. But when I do have those moments, I love outside. So if y'all ever came to my house, my patio is decked out. That's my moment of being able to kind of think it through. But also, I remember who I am.
Yeah.
It's very simple for me, because I came a long way. And so when you're having that moment of like, oh, I'm not good enough, it's a simple thought process for me. Like, girl, look where you were in 2017, 2018, 2019, and look where you are now. And it's just that boost of confidence you give yourself, stepping away from what people are doing on social media, stepping away from what people are doing in your local area, and really just focusing on how far you've personally came. All of us said really awesome things that God specifically chose us to accomplish. And so just thinking about that alone is like, okay, I'm meant for this. Something I just
I think there's a lesson in that,
and
though.
I titled it, I Deserve It. Because something as simple as waking up this morning, these are things that we deserve in life because we were meant for it, right?
Yeah.
So that helps me know, just reminding myself who I am is just,
yes,
that is that simple.
Well, and I was going to say there's a lesson in that, right? Because oftentimes we do sell ourselves short. And so the lesson is being able to, call yourself the things that you truly are. Do you know what I mean? And when you said, I was reminded, I got a little quote up here on my thing. It's from Beyonce. And she said, the younger, less involved me could never F with the woman I am today. And I was like,
agreed.
Yes. And so I put that there to remind me, hey, like you just said, remember who you once were and who you are today.
Right.
Who else want to jump in there?
I can jump in real quick. I would just say, like Morgan, I'm a planner too. So to me, if it's not on my calendar, it's not happening. So I literally plan when I'm gonna, go to the gym, when I'm gonna take a walk outside, because it's important to do that. Because if you think it's just gonna happen, it's never gonna happen. So I strategically go to the gym in the morning so I can get it done, because I know if I wait in the afternoon, it's not gonna happen. And that helps me, keep me in line and, get not being at work 24/7. So, and there are weekends where I say I'm not doing anything work related all weekend. And, just making those points to get time with yourself, focus on yourself. And then I think a big thing is delegating. So you have to understand, going in, you can't do everything. So, you know, if you have people for certain things, let them do their job and don't try to overstep. And that will save you a world of pain and, you know, just trying to do everything. We all have careers, we have side hustles, we have some people have kids and husbands. You can't do everything. So you're going to have to delegate and follow up and then let it go. So I think that's been my biggest thing is delegating, even with all my businesses. Yes, there are some things I could do, but I choose not to. So I choose to hire out. I have systems and processes in place so I can have that free time to myself to go for a walk or, you know, choose not to work that weekend. But I just think it's important going in that we know we can't do everything.
Right. We definitely have to be a master of our strengths, right? And be able to outsource our weaknesses and not be afraid of that, even within the home. Like I remember, you know, parents and our moms, it seemed like they had to do everything, right? They were cooking and cleaning. And it's like, now, baby, I can pay for a Molly maid to come on through now. Right. And not feel like I'm less than a mom because of that or less than a woman because of that. It's not about that. It's just game changing, you know, things. Michelle, get in there. I want to hear your point of view on this.
I think my biggest thing is always I have a sign on my mirror that says "Kill the quit in you." So I know when I'm not centered, when I have gotten away from me, and so I shut everything down when that happens. It's like, okay, I have to get back to me, and what that could be something as simple as Morgan said, sitting on my patio, sitting with myself, and slowing it down, remembering, okay, if you're not good for you, then you're not going to be good for anybody else. So I selfishly consider myself. You know, yes, I do have kids. Yes, I have clients. I have a spouse. But I have to selfishly shut it down and say, hey, I I am my one income producing product.
Right.
And by income, I mean for my family, in my business, for my clients. So I have to get grounded, get centered again, and just kind of shut everything out. And one of my biggest things is never to compete or compare. We live in a world of social media where everybody presents their best self.
Yes.
And that has a tendency, you know, to make us think, okay, well, if we have to get away from thinking, oh, if I take a break, that means I'm lazy, I'm not hustling, I'm not grinding. It's like, no, that means you're resting, that means you're becoming rejuvenated, that means you're centering yourself. So everybody puts their, you know, their best face forward on social media. I said this last night. I did another panel discussion, and I said everybody presents their highlight reels on Facebook and on Instagram. My son makes highlight reels, and he's a basketball player. He never ever in his highlight reels where he misses a shot. You'll never see a missed shot in a highlight reel. So if we're, you know, kind of on the outside looking in other people's world, they're not gonna post their failures most of the time. They're only gonna show you the wonderful trips to Italy. They're only going to show, you know, when you all boot up with your man, but you don't get to see the parts where you're having real difficulties, and that creates a false sense for people that they can't live their real life because they're trying to live your life that ain't even real.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what? Michelle, I hate to cut you off.
No,
but Gabby, get in there, Gabby, because let me tell you, that was one of the biggest lessons that I learned with Gabby. And it wasn't that I was trying to project this perfect me, right? But she was telling me that the lesson is, and you never know who you're reaching, is when people see you transparent, without the makeup, without the gloss, you in the kitchen with the kids. Like, that's what people connect with. Gabby, get in there. I don't want to tell it all.
Okay, that's exactly what I love talking about on social media. So the end of last year, I was exhausted doing all the things, showing up on social media all the time. And then I was like, but this is everybody's highlight reel. And I don't always have highlights to show y'all.
Right.
Like, let's just be honest. I don't always have highlights to show y'all. So constantly feeling like I'm reinventing the wheel, trying to keep up with people that are probably making things up. Let's be honest.
Lying.
Yes,
so
lying. Let's just be honest.
they were lying. Okay, hold up, they were lying. Was exhausting, and so I just made a vow to myself that I was not going to show up unless I felt encouraged or inspired to share something. So I just looked today because I was like, "Ooh, I have not posted on social media for a week," but so be it. So be it,
Right.
because I am no longer comparing myself to somebody else because I am seeing their chapter 34 when I might be at chapter 3.
Yeah.
Girl.
Preach.
That's
Don't
That's the
don't
one.
compare your middle. Right.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can't be doing all that. Can't.
No.
That's part of my self care and pouring into myself is
Yep.
putting all of the social media away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I respond to people's comments when I post. I will respond to messages, but I'm not simply scrolling to scroll. You know, if I want to go find something, I will go find it. I will go look at it. I will go support it, and then I put it away. Much like Morgan, I do get up in the morning. I get up early, and before anybody else can ask anything of me, I ask like, what do I need for myself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't get my phone out. Like I meditate, spend time with God, and I make sure that I reaffirm like who I am and who He says I am.
Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
There you go.
You know what, Jay? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think there is a difference between self-care and self-love? I mean, with self-care being such the buzzword, are they interdependent? Is there really a difference?
I would say they're very similar, but they can be separate. And so I'm going to explain that. So when we think of self-care, like for me, and this kind of goes back to the previous question, for me, I get up and I go work out because for me, that's my way of loving myself and making sure that I'm healthy and that, I'm able to pour into myself so that I can have something, for my family. And so that's my huge piece for self-care. But, some people may be able to say, you know what, I'm just going to get up and work out, just as a routine, but they still don't really love themselves because they do still have that low self-esteem, or they may be working out for the wrong reasons. I'm going to the gym because my husband or my boyfriend said that I'm fat. And, I really don't like myself. So I'm just going to do this to please them. So they're not really loving themselves. They're doing it for these other reasons. But at the same time, there are people who may, go to the spa and they get their hair done and they get all these things because they truly love themselves and they want to be able to take care of themselves and to be able to be productive in whatever space that they show up in. So it's really, I would say probably about really the mindset of the person that is coming from. So if you have that mindset of truly loving yourself, then yes, self-care, self-love, they go hand in hand. But if your mindset is not there, then I can see how they could be separate.
Can I add something to that, what Jay said?
Get on in there. Come on, Michelle.
I absolutely loved it because we can love ourselves, which I would, I believe it's unanimous. We can absolutely love ourselves, so have that self-love and know that it's not right to eat certain foods that are damaging to our body. So we counteract that self-love and disallow the self-care.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they can be one and the same, or they can be interdependent, or they can be totally separate. They can be totally separate. I love what you said about exercising because you love yourself. And that rolls over into self-care, how you care for yourself.
In your body, and it's a temple.
Yes, how we love ourselves is always going to be an extension of how we love other people. If you got jacked up people doing jacked up stuff, chances are they're jacked up here. They don't fully and wholly love themselves, so they can't give out of what they don't have.
Yep.
They only give out of their experience.
Yeah.
I am a huge champion for just people understanding who they are, and one of those ways is just like, what's your love language? And I think when you and that change, like you said, there's a season and understanding the season that you're in. I'm
Mhm.
currently reading Deborah's Anointing, and it's about just aligning yourself with God's timing, right?
Mhm.
And so when I think about love languages and you just operating in that space, do
Mhm.
you think that that like plays a part in how you operate in business?
Yes.
Completely.
Yes,
It does for me.
Completely.
yes.
Everybody was like, yes. Get in there, Danny. What you think? I want to hear.
So I'm probably the worst example to come to. But with me, I do definitely think it plays a part, but I think you can turn it on and turn it off. So for me, I'm very straight to the point when I'm in business. Like, this is what it is. I'm not big on words of affirmation in personal life or in business, but I know it's important in business. So I can turn it on for that purpose. So, when I know from my experience managing people, some people need that. Some people, you just can't say, I need you to do this, I need you to do that. They have to, hey, how's your day going? How are you doing? How's the family doing? Hey, by the way, can you do this for me? So, I'm not like that in my real life with my friends. They know, hey, it's straight to the point. What are we doing? But in my business life, I am able to turn that on because, working with people, managing people, you can't get anything done if you're not communicating in their love language. So I think it's
There.
important for us to know, how that works.
Yeah.
And I
There's
think that's about
actually,
being a leader as well. I know in the military, I've led so many different types of all branches I've led. But
Mhm.
you're right. When you can't speak to them through their love language, they shut down and you don't get anything done. And for me, I was never the first person to be like, I'm going to write you up, right? Because that was work for me. But what I am going to do is we're going to get to the root of this. Baby,
Yeah.
before I have to do all this paperwork and get you up, like, what's the problem?
yeah.
And I don't think we do that enough in business is get to the root of the problem. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But to, take it further, right? Business ain't always good. And it's always going to be someone who is checking you and checking out your personal, or they're trying to. I just had that today. Somebody, I was leaving a comment, someone in one of the groups, and she called my junk a scam. I said, baby, you messing with the wrong one. I don't scam. I don't need to scam. But in the end, she ended up apologizing because it was a bot that, took over the post and she couldn't
Um,
differentiate the two. But I'm saying to you, how do you guys manage personal and business? Right? When it's times where you be like, baby, you about to get this. But you know that you, again, unlike our fellow brother, didn't show any restraint. How do you do that?
I think you have to just think about the future. We can't live in the moment. Like your example, Will Smith was living in that moment. He didn't think
And
about
I applaud him.
he wasn't thinking about the repercussions. He wasn't thinking about the future. He was thinking
no,
about right then and there. So I think for me, I have to think about the future with my corporate job and with my businesses. Where am I trying to go? Is it worth my little satisfaction of me checking you and being happy and laughing about it for 5 minutes? Is that going to hurt me in the future? Or can I just check you in a professional way and not to come at me again? And then
But
we
that,
move on.
Danny, I'm talking about your online presence though. That's like in the workplace. I'm talking about
Oh,
over
okay.
these social media in these social media streets. How do
Oh,
you
okay.
balance that?
Oh, we balance that with the block report and button.
Hmm.
We're gonna block you. You're
It's
not
that
gonna you're not
simple.
gonna interfere with my peace
block report.
because you want to
That
come with
part.
some mess. But we're gonna block you. I'm gonna protect my peace at the end of the day. But I think it is sometimes you, like you said, that person called you a scammer. Sometimes you just have to explain, hey, I'm not scamming. This is what I'm doing. Oh, okay, I apologize. So sometimes I always try to have a conversation with people. I'm not like a hothead where I'm just gonna immediately argue with you. We're going to try to have a conversation. If you don't want to have a conversation, we're going to hit that block button. You're not going to be on my page disrespecting me. So, that's how I handle it.
Have you ever felt
I'll
short?
piggyback off of her.
Go ahead.
So for me, I've been here my whole life. And so the person that I am right now at this age is not the person that somebody met in high school or college or middle school, right? Or when I was younger in the streets. Totally different person now, right? And so respect hasn't been an issue, but it hasn't a way because they haven't learned who I am today or gotten used to the person that I am today. So the respect is like, all right, she cool, but I remember what she used to do, or I know how she really is, or I seen her in high school, or I know how she really look in person, things like that. And then of course they're not publicly saying anything, but like I said, I've been here my whole life, so it come back to me, period. But I also just have learned to keep going, and if they don't want to see me glow, they can go. And that's how simple it works. You don't have to follow me if you don't want to see me on no more flyers or no more magazines. You can go, because it's gonna keep coming, and it's gonna keep coming. It's gonna keep coming and coming and coming. If you're not ready to hop on, you can go. And so the respect thing publicly, I haven't had that issue. Nothing too crazy. I don't have a crazy story for y'all, but I will say, as someone who has been here her whole life and people have seen grown to the woman that I am now, it's been like a rough patch of trying to earn the respect of the people who have also been here their whole lives or that know me from the past. So I can speak from that aspect, but I haven't had nobody go off on me on social media. But if they did, we'll let them have their moment and go, because I can't be seen in that light, if that makes sense. Like it's not something I can do right now. Now, when I become Will Smith, then that's a different story. Y'all see me not, and when I become a Kanye, y'all see me,
oh Lord,
then
Gabby,
then at that point y'all can say, okay, she did say in 2022 she couldn't do that, but now it's 3022 and she
let's not
kidding.
no
But
no
yes, at this
Going
point,
back to
like
recording,
Danielle
Mom,
said, it's
remind
just
you.
not worth it right now. It's not worth it right now.
Please. What she somebody
What Gabby
press record. Gabby, you being a brand strategist, have you had to give people advice on balancing personal and professional?
Yes. So as far as my own personal life goes, I've been very fortunate. People don't hate on me on social media, or if they do,
You're
it
too
gets viewed before I
beautiful.
see it. I don't know. But I feel like I have mastered the art of the polite read.
Mm. Can I get an example? Can I get an example? I need an example.
Well, like, so Danny, she said she, goes back to her professional life. In my professional life, I have to do it quite often. I have to check people because they don't respect what I've said. And I always have the receipts. Let me go screenshot it. Let me go attach this. Let me go refer you back to what you said. And we're gonna wrap it up there. So per my last email and per the screenshot below, went over this 17,000 times, and I'm tired. No, but in business it is different, because if you ever do work with me, I always tell people that you're the face of your brand. Before people want to shop with you, they want to like you as a person, because I don't have to necessarily need everything that you provide, but I might know somebody and they might. And if I like you, I'm gonna ride for you, and I'm gonna recommend you above anybody else if that opportunity comes. So it is about liking the person. Thankfully for me, I have not had these problems. But when I to have clients that do, I always say it is better to let that person have their moment. If it is a fact that can be checked, then put that fact, respond to that fact and say, you can read more about this here, but you have to think twice and talk once. Don't react right away. I'm not saying think 24 hours. You might need 24 hours though. Some people might need that time, but think twice and then respond once, because you can't take it back once you say it. Yeah. We all know social media, you can delete it before they read it, but that's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Well, ladies, I just wanted to let me just jump in real quick and just say, just want to shout out some people that's out there. Stephanie, Camille, Ruby, I see you guys. Tiffany, Miss Lewis, don't want to mess up your first name. Deborah, Shannon, all you guys. Kanika, get on in there. Morgan, somebody said you beautiful girl. They be with you at Golds. Just wanted to go out and shout you guys out and really say, Thank you guys for rocking with us on this Thursday as we do this virtual roundtable. Really, just settling in business and life and how we just elevate in these different areas. And I think we do that. And Michelle said it very well by watering women and planting different type of seeds in your mind so the perspective can grow. And so I think each of us can honestly say that we're the table, baby. What that TikTok thing say, baby? I am the table. Yeah, I'm a diehard TikTok fan. Hey, Candace, girl, I see you too. I see you.
Hey.
Candace, get up in there. Hey, she said, hey. But yeah, I am a diehard TikTok like fanatic. Probably
Same.
get on there too. Lord, I love it. So all my quotes right now is just a TikTok thing. But she said, I am the table. With us all being respectfully in our own career fields, right? How do you find time to sow back into others? Michelle?
I think this platform is one of the ways that all of us are sewing back into other people. I am always consistently looking for somebody, some woman to water. I I love mentoring. I do a lot of one-on-one with people. I like to say this before coaching caught on, before people were inviting me places. I was doing the work in private. So
Yeah.
who I am in private is how I showed up in the public. And I mean, it's just I think when when you realize what you're called to do. I said this before, there's I don't know if it started on TikTok or whatever. The person that was saying, I understood the assignment. I understood.
Yeah.
When you understand the assignment, you know what you've been assigned to do. So I consistently show up in my assignment because I was assigned to empower women. I was assigned to give other people hope. I am the bridge for some people, and I say that very modestly. I am that bridge, and we are all that bridge for somebody to come over into something else.
Yeah.
I travel a lot, and one of the things I'm from Georgia. So anytime I fly anywhere out of San Antonio, you have to go through Atlanta. That's always the connection. That's always the connecting point. And so for us, and for the people that are listening, that are on this live, I consider it like this: we have to pass through Atlanta to get to wherever the next place I need to go. So you may be that connector, that spot for somebody else. Your destination may be to Atlanta, and then your destination may be beyond Atlanta. So you're that connection point. Some people aren't gonna go at the full length of the trip or the journey. You get them to that connection point, and then the dots are connected. You connect them to the next person and to the next person. What we have and who we do, we can't be selfish with it. We can't be, and it's all this no new friends. That's stupid. I'll say that again. People in the back. All this no new friends, that's stupid, because I said this before: new friends equal new doors, new opportunities, and new money. I'll say that one more time. All that no new friends, new doors, new opportunities, and new money.
That's another quote.
New friends, because
there's another quote.
Hey,
y'all giving me content for all of next week. Lord, thank you, Jesus.
Because of my new friends that we came into contact with, we were able to sit courtside at one of the Spurs games. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so what about, like, oh, I don't want to talk to them, they look different and all that other stuff. No, new friends equal new access, new doors, and new money. So it is up to us to foster these relationships. And if the relationship wasn't for us, let's put them on with the next person. Let's go ahead and open the door for the next sister. Yeah. And I'll say this as I'm leaving.
Well, you know what? I mean, you said a whole lot.
I tell people, I said, if you can't sit on my audience, don't expect to stand on my stage.
Period.
Hold up. I almost got up on that one. Okay. I almost got up. Hold on.
Oh, Lord, she said, let me
the fact of the matter is, we have got to be, again, saving space for people. If you can't sit in my audience, I mean, I don't do these people, and hear me clearly. I don't do these people that don't have reciprocity.
Right.
And now you don't have to invite me to be a speaker. That's not what I'm going for. That's not the exchange I'm going for. And I don't like to use the word support, because anything that supports something can be taken away. So I want you to buy into me, buy into Morgan, buy into Jay, the things that are doing, buy into Gabby, buy into Danielle, buy into what Reka is doing, buy into it. And buy into it mean what I mean. If you can't show up, buy a ticket.
Yep.
Send somebody else.
Yes. Candace said boom. It's a lot of booms out there. It's a lot of you're touching me with all these amazing, areas of life and business. They're loving it. I'm loving it because we're dropping so many gems. And Michelle, you are absolutely right. I think when we talk about understanding the assignment, it's because people haven't taken the time to understand their purpose and their gift. And more so, they haven't reached out for help. Don't be insecure, right? Or don't be self-conscious when you just say, I don't know, because there's plenty of people that can help you get to where you need to be. And sometimes the next person can't go further, can't meet their 100-mile mark because you ain't in place. It's like, God, like, yo, I need you to get there, but you walking. Right now, I need you to be jogging. I need you to get there. And we're dragging our feet. And so we have to get that spirit of just complacency out. My husband liked to say, stagnant water stinks.
Yeah.
So what you gonna stay stagnant? I'm like, ugh. Like when you realize that, don't get stuck. Like it stinks. Like think about that. Like that's what happens. So anybody else want to talk about how you guys actually sow into others, particular situation that you can share a story on?
For me, this is actually what my community does. I know Miss Reka is a member of Female Executives of Texas. So she can be my example for today. So Miss Reka actually joined with us, and just as we do for every member, you have a introductory call where we figure out what your goals are, but basically, what do you need from us? I feel like when there are memberships or communities, they're just like, yep, pay your dues, thanks. Now you can just say you're a member, keep it moving, right? And so what I did is I became a member of 6 communities to see what they were doing. I had about 2 communities call just to welcome me, and then that was it. So what I did is I did the complete opposite. I created a community where you are paying for your membership with us, but when you have your initial call with us, we ask you straight up, what do you need from us? Do you need us to put you on the news? Do you need a magazine feature with Miss Michelle? Do you need to talk to Gabby? Do you need to go to Miss Danielle? What do you need to do? Because we need to figure out why you joined the community and what we can give to you. What is the resource that we can provide? I do this every member. So to answer Miss Reka's question, that's exactly what I do every member. Every call, I ask them, what is it that we can do? And I set them up for that immediately. Miss Reka's call with Gabby, that's what she needed. She told me, I said, what do you need my help with? Tell me what I can do. Tell me what the community can do for you. She gave me a list of things, and I sent her straight over to Gabby to discuss it. Boom, boom, done. Now we're moved on to the next thing. And then me and Miss Reka will have our call in a couple more months to check in, see where we are. And I do this with every member. I'm currently at 61. So every member, I'm doing this. Every member. And so
and
that's
exactly that was probably like the best thing too. And I just want to jump in real quick and just say to you, it's much appreciated, because then we know that when Michelle's saying having buy-in, right? That's the buy-in.
Yeah.
And it's not that you get anything out of it other than to say, like I'm that vessel, I'm that bridge. And then you connect with other people, because I promise you, I got on the phone with Gabby and it was just like, oh my, I always say this, like get off the phone after meeting people, like, you're gonna be my business bestie, right? We besties now. And we got off the phone and that's exactly what it was. It was. And it was, even though I called her, somehow, some form, we were pouring into each other. And we got off the phone, and at that moment, it was what she needed. And it was a divine meeting, because it was what we both needed. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a little popcorn thing starting with Jay. It got to be quick. It has to be
Right.
one word to describe your brand. One word.
Growth.
Mm. Danielle.
Powerful.
Ooh. Michelle.
Connectivity.
Ooh. Morgan.
Sisterhood.
Ooh. Gabby.
Encouragement.
Yes.
Good job,
Yes.
y'all.
Rika, it's your turn. Rika, you can't
Empower-
take your shot.
Y'all killed that.
Thank you. With
And thank you for making me
the
laugh.
sound effects. Mine would be elevate. It's on my shirt. I'm
Yes,
all
I
about
love that.
elevation. Elevate. Okay. All right. So I think we all had a little get, I'm gonna have to take it a notch higher.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm scared,
Um
low key.
okay. I ain't gonna hurt y'all too bad now. Okay, so this is what I truly want to know. Code switching. I think we've all worked in, a lot of areas in our life where we had to turn on the voice, like, hey, and we do often associate tone when it comes to communication. However, did y'all see the movie What Men Want with Taraji P. Henson?
Yeah.
And she was like, boss, she had her assistant, she was waking up a certain way, she was living this whole life, but she was playing in a boys club.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that, masculinity against femininity. And I wonder, she was struggling with, oh my God, I got to show this. I got a relationship. I got to show that I'm this home, type girl. And that's not really what she was about. And so I want to ask you guys, one thing is for sure. Let me just say this. The boys club still exists. Not to say there's not girls club, but it still exists. Have you ever had to play both sides of the table?
For me, I don't mind going. For me, I don't feel like I have, but that's just my own inner perspective of it. But I don't feel like I have, and I guess because education is predominantly a female, field, that's more the reason why. But of course, as you tend to get higher up, even in education, depending on if you're elementary, middle school, secondary, district office, things like that, there tend to be more males. But at this point, I really haven't had to, I guess, differentiate between the two. But even with that said, there sometimes can be comments made like, oh, you're being too demanding right now, or, you're asking too much. So they may try you a little bit more because you are a woman. Whereas if they had a male boss, then it may not be questioned as much. Now they may go behind doors and close doors and say something, but they may not be as bold to say it, in their face. So that's where, like Danielle and Gabby said, you kind of have to politely take a breath, and you have to professionally put them back in their place. So it's like, let's go back and talk about what you just said. So what I heard you say was, and then and get that clarification really before moving forward. And one of the biggest pieces I feel like, once again, my perspective, that some people tend to differentiate masculinity and femininity is because they say females tend to be very emotional and they lead with their emotions and all this kind of stuff. So then it's like, okay, well, let me take the emotion out of it. Not that makes me less of a woman, but it's business. This is business. And so it's not personal. It's not me taking a shot at you. It's not me taking a jab at you. We have business that we need to take care of. It doesn't matter if I'm male or female. Let's do what we're supposed to be doing here in this moment and get past it.
Danielle, you being in corporate, what can you add to that? I mean, because when I think of corporate, I just see so much of just that, the behind the closed doors, the snide comments, and oh, you're aggressive, or a lot of things. Oh, your facial expression. You can't make a point being too passionate about a point, because then you come off, it's like, uh what do you have to add to that?
You definitely see it in corporate America. And like I said, the positions I've been in are mostly male dominated. So you have that space of where I will say, I think it's a balance. And I've always been the person, I'm not scared of anything. So where some people shy away from that, or nope, it's a boys club. What's going on? What are we talking about? What are we doing? Oh, so I've always been approached it like that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to bust in the boys club, and then I'm going to bring on my 3 female friends with me, and we're all going to have a club.
Yes.
So I've always kind of been like that. You definitely see the boys club forming, and all of a sudden, this person's getting promoted, this person's getting promoted. So I'm going to ask questions like, what's going on? What does he do so well that he's getting promoted? Let's have it open for everyone. So I think just calling it out, again, being respectful. And like you said, some people will try to make little slick comments. Well, you're aggressive. Well, how was what I said about this different than what he said about this? Can you explain the difference? I just want to make sure, so next time I don't do it. Put the pressure on you.
Yeah.
So
apply pressure?
look, I know how to professionally read. So
obviously everybody needs to give a lesson, because Lord, y'all are on it with this professional read. Honey.
Yeah. So, I'm going to throw it back on you and have you explain to me the difference. And I think, like I said, I have been able to successfully, kind of break up some of it. It's always going to exist, don't get me wrong, but I can think of one job in particular where I did kind of just break it up and invite all the women in. Hey, what are we doing? Everybody needs to be included. Everybody's opinions need to be heard. And I think it's just the women having that confidence to know, hey, I can go in here. I don't care if it was a boys club. It's going to be a boys club +1, because y'all not just about to leave me out. So I think it's just having that confidence. And I will just say, even in the trucking world, y'all know that's a very male dominant world. So you'll have, men try to play you, or, oh, sweetie, honey, are you the secretary? Are you the dispatcher? No, I own the company. What's going on? I can talk to you just like anybody else. So, I feel is important is really educating yourself. So like, I can tell you a lot about trucks. I can tell you about parts of truck. I'm no mechanic by far. Can't fix it, but I at least know what's going on. So you're not going to be able to trick me and say you need something that I know I don't. So I'm going to ask those questions, educate yourself. And I think once men see that, they know to leave you alone. Okay. Like on TikTok when they were saying, I'm putting premium air in your tires, right. Once they know you can't do that, they won't try you anymore. But if you go along with it, they're going to continue to try you.
But I think just to add to that, oh my God, just to add to it though, it's so much times where women feel like they can't speak up, right? And I like to say this, beauty is fleeting, so you better have some knowledge. Yeah. The most powerful thing that you said in there was educate yourself. Be knowledgeable about the processes. Ask for the handbook. Get in there and learn as much as you can. And then when all else fails, baby, slide in some DMs, ask some questions, get some mentorship. Google is free. But for the women that are meek, because there are some women that feel like their voice will not be heard. You said it just there. Speak up for yourself. And I think that goes back to what we were talking about for self-care and self-love. When you reaffirm and know who you are, when you start walking in your assignment and in your gift, when you know your gift, when you know your brand, when you know that, hey, okay, I might not be the table, but I'm the seat right now. I might be the fork and the knife. Okay.
But you still have to play.
We all have a part to play.
I got you.
Okay. Come on, Michelle. We know you about to drop
a gem, Michelle.
This is my mantra about that seat at the table thing. I said, you don't have to invite me to a seat at your table. I'll eat standing up. Correct. And that's what we have when we show up.
I almost got it.
Listen, when we show up with that mentality that I don't have to be a part of this club because I'm coming equipped. I can go toe to toe with you. I know as much.
Yes.
James Brown said this is a man's world, but it's nothing without a girl. Nothing. So we have our place, and when we own it, when we authentically own it, I'll go back to give you an example. When I lived in Georgia, I worked for the Georgia Lottery. And so I was around a lot of Indians, and their culture was not for women to be strong and not for them to, be an authority and that kind of stuff. So, me coming into their space and, telling them what to do or what they needed to do, made them uncomfortable. And not only was I a woman, I was a Black woman. So I would come into their space weekly and show up, and they would look at me like, she back. And it got to the point where I would announce, I'm back and I'm back. And so it became a joke, but that broke up the ground for them to see that, I know what I'm doing. I have a right to stand here, and I'm going to unapologetically stand here in my position, maintain my position with confidence, and you're going to respect that.
Yes.
And
come on, Michelle.
It's from that platform that we're gonna learn how to get along. Because once we start shrinking back, and I love what Danielle said. No, I'm not. No, I own the company.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I'm not the dispatcher.
Yeah.
And then when you say things like that, when you say that forces them to shift their mentality in dealing with you. Not, oh no, I'm not the dispatcher. I'm the owner. No, I own the company. How may I help you? Is there something that I can do?
Yep.
Like, you gotta say it with your chest.
Yeah.
No, I own the company.
I think that I'm gonna say one thing and we can move on. Sorry, Reka, I know you're the moderator.
Take over my job.
I think that also spews from confidence, right? Because I remember, I think Danielle, she said, I'm not scared of anything.
Yes.
You know how many women are scared of something, though?
Yes.
That they don't necessarily have that confidence. That's something I hear all the time. I'm not humble. You cocky. You an Aries.
Turn it on.
Really?
You bossy. And I don't care what somebody else has to say, because I hold an extremely good amount of confidence to the point where I can talk like Danielle and I can talk like Michelle and say, no, I own the company. I am the boss here. Because years ago, we could not do this.
No.
We could not say these things. But now if we say it or if we walk a certain way, like I always call myself the baby goat, because I'm not the goat just yet. I have a little bit more work to do. So I'm just the baby goat right now. But big goat coming soon.
Next year.
And so saying stuff like that, like, oh, I'm the goat, oh, I'm this, I'm that, it's such a some people take a little bit of offense to it or say like, oh, she thinks she all that, whatever it may be. But confidence is such a big thing for me to push into other people as well. I think my friend Stephanie is on here listening, but I'll use her as an example, and then I'm gonna let you take it, Reka. I met Stephanie online. I saw that she made really, really cute drinks. And the executives was having our first headshot happy hour. And so I messaged her and I said, hey, how much do you charge to do, bartending? And she was like, oh, I don't do that. I said, well, now you do. She's like, oh, well, I've never done it. That's okay. Okay, well, she made up every excuse. I'm like, girl, you do this thing amazing to the point where somebody said, hey, what's your pricing? You now do it.
What's her name?
Her headshot happy hour was her first time bartending.
What's her name?
Huh?
Tiffany?
No,
Stephanie.
Oh, Stephanie. We met, right?
And her drinks are good.
Yes, y'all met.
Last
At
name.
dinner with
Last
bosses.
name.
Huh? What you said?
Last name. What's her last name?
Garza.
Garza.
So Stephanie's first time bartending was at Headshot Happy Hour. And then her second time bartending was our next event. And ever since then, she's done every women's event we have, because I spewed the confidence in her. And now she got her own bartending company.
Yes.
Now she doing her own. But when we first talked, she always tells people she bullied me into doing it. If that's what it took.
But we need more.
Like,
honestly, we need more, right? We need to be able, and I think I always say this, collaboration beyond competition. Like sometimes you're going to see something in someone and be compelled to, help them get to that next level. it should be like Gabby say, like it's easy for me to think this way, but not everybody think that way, you know? And that's unfortunate, but I think the more we pour into people, the more we contribute to the workforce, the more we again start shattering that glass ceiling. I don't mean to make it political at all, but you know, Hillary Clinton, she's on record saying, hey, you know, once the ceiling doesn't exist, then sky's the limit. And then I think we balance that with, you know, then Michelle Obama, who is teaching us, oh, well, when they go low, you go high. And so it's being able to manage your life in grace and grit. And when you talk about being in position, and I hear you saying that a lot, I hear the whole panel saying that, being in position and not shrinking yourself. It reminds me of the story of Daniel in the Bible, where all of them was positioned. You get what I'm saying? Positioned to a point where he said, hey, baby, go ahead and do what you gonna do, because the God I serve gonna get me. He got me. I'm protected. And I think once we get that mentality, we start to then operate in that greater is he that is in me. You get what I'm saying? And own that and own that. I'm gonna push it forward to anybody got anything to add? Y'all jump on in here now. I'm gonna push it forward. So I think the biggest news for women for us is the honorable, right? Ketanji Brown or Jackson Brown, you know, soon to be sworn in, you know, at the Supreme Court. Like,
yes.
Okay, like to me, this was when I was seeing it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I couldn't. My husband, of course, he is a political junkie, but I couldn't watch it because oftentimes we see professional, driven career women putting in the hot seat and being able to having to hold back so much, you know. In that moment, the amount of restraint that she had to show with just not only body language, tone, with just how she had to explain everything, her facial expressions. I think the biggest moment for me is when she took the time to let everybody know, like all the cameras, y'all can question me all y'all want, but the main thing for me is that my babies, my girls see that I did this for legacy. I did this so that they can come after me and do something great. And I think it's not uncommon for us Black women to each have been put in that situation where we feel like, baby, how you questioning me and I wrote the book?
Right.
Like, how you, baby, read the bibliography. Like, that's my name. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to know, like, have you guys been put in that position of somebody just really trying to just really come for, you know, your business, your ideals, you as a person? You're like, baby, you can't question me on something that I already wrote the book on.
I'll go first. Again, in corporate America, people are going to try you left and right. It doesn't help that you're young, Black, and a woman. So I've had example times where I've gotten over a new area. So for instance, right now I support 2 regions. So I support all the way from California up to Michigan. And so I live here in Texas. So when I first got promoted to that role, they didn't necessarily know me because I'm not from their area. So they see me walking in with the executive team and they're like, who is this little girl? Who she thinks she is? You know, so you'll have some questions or they'll try to come at you like they wouldn't come at another executive level person just because they don't know who you are. And again, it goes back to all this the self-confidence, the knowledge. Once you have knowledge and self-confidence, what can somebody say to you? There's not a question you can ask me that I don't know. You're not going to make me feel less than or like I don't belong. I'm going to answer your question, then fire back at you with a question. Let's see if you know your business like you know, like I know mine.
I love
right.
Right. Look, one thing about me, I'm going to have the knowledge and I'm going to have the receipt. So you can ask me all the questions you want. Just know I'm going to have a question for your question. And we're going to go back and forth. So I just hope you answer as well as I do. So, you know, I think it's just about the knowledge, the self-confidence. And then again, once people see that, they leave you alone. And then to vice versa, like you also have though, like I said, I'm very confident and I'm not scared of conflict, but you have those women who aren't like that. So when I see something happen to them, I step in as well there because just because, you know, they don't feel comfortable enough to speak up, I'm going to let them know, hey, your opinion's valued. Listen, what do you think about it? When I see people getting ignored and things like that, I think it's also our place for the women who aren't as confident or maybe, you know, they don't have that will to speak up, invite them into the conversations and make them feel comfortable. Just like Morgan said with the bartender situation, I'm gonna make you have a business. You're a bartender, you just don't know it yet. So, you know, I just invite those women and, you know, try to help them when I can as well.
Well, okay. So look, guys, we've been on here and I am down to my last 5 minutes of talk. And so I just want to do a big round robin real quick before we get out of here. And I just want you to, this is how I like to end my show with tools, tips, and strategies, right? And it's just giving a lesson learned, a bit of advice that you can give any inspiring, you know, entrepreneur, somebody who's already there and just need a little push, or you know, a little confidence boost, anything that you can offer, especially as we end this wonderful, you know, Women's History Month. Go ahead, Jay, since you're the closest to me.
Okay, all right, I'll go first. So I'm a sucker for quotes and things like that. So the first is I'll lead with a scripture. You know, and one of the scriptures in Proverbs says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." So whether you go into business or whatever walk of life you go to, you have to have a vision of where you're going. So I will say that always have a vision, have a goal, have a plan. The second thing is, I don't know if you all have started watching the new reboot of Bel Air, but there's a quote that was said that I love. And Will's mom in the show says, your crown is waiting for you when you find the courage to wear it.
Woo, yes.
So that would be, you know, my bit of advice. We all have a crown that's waiting on us, and either, you know, it's sitting to the side, or maybe we're sitting in our lap and we haven't found the confidence to actually pick it up and put it on. And some of us may be like Morgan, maybe rocking that thing, you know, all around the room, you know, whatever we're doing at this point. But we have that crown. You just got to find that courage to put it on.
Danielle?
My advice for aspiring entrepreneurs is just go for it. It's going to be so easy for you to think of excuses and reasons why you should or shouldn't start that business, or I'll start it tomorrow, I'll start it next week, next year. And next thing you know, we're at the end of 2022. So I would just say, start your business. Everything does not have to be perfect. You will learn on your way. Experience is the best teacher. I would also just say, educate yourself, hire a coach, a mentor, whatever you have to do. Because a lot of times I feel like we don't like to get educated or pay for education. So Gabby, she's a marketing guru. If I'm not good at marketing, instead of wasting all that time figuring it out, I'm going to hire her because she's already figured it out. So I'm not going to waste months and months and years and halfway get it. She has it. So hire her, speed your business up. And I just think we would get a lot further, a lot quicker if we had that mindset.
Michelle?
Awesome. Well, I want to give an illustration that I use when I do talks, and it can be for your business, your personal life, relationships. And it's what God gave me as a model when I'm doing coaching or transformation in people's lives. He told me to tell them to build a house. And there's certain things that come into play when you build a house. The first thing, these are your tools, and I'm going to equate that tool or parallel that tool with building a house. You need your imagination, which is the blueprint. So that can be your business, that can be your relationship, anything. It all starts with your imagination. I said this last night, imagination. We don't imagine enough. We don't spend time just sitting in our thoughts and imagining things like the way we used to do when we were children. And imagination simply broken down. If things that you imagine they're not invisible. You see them. You see them. Just because nobody else sees them doesn't mean that you don't see them. So your imagination is the blueprint for the house. Say that with me. My imagination.
My imagination.
My blueprint for the house.
It's
Is
my
the blueprint for the
Blueprint
house.
for the
Yeah,
house.
good teacher always gets you to repeat stuff. And so the next thing, we've got the imagination. Now, our imagination, we need a place to put our imagination, a place to put our thoughts, and that is our foundation. So first we have our imagination, which is the blueprint, then our foundation, which are our thoughts. Say this after me: thoughts become things.
thoughts
Thoughts
become
Thoughts
become
become
things.
things.
They're not just words. That's biblical. Thoughts become things. Everything that we're speaking, everything that we're saying, we're creating in a different stratosphere, in a different atmosphere. If I say red dress, you don't hear REDDRESS. You imagine a red dress. Whatever, it could be a mini skirt, strapless, whatever. You imagine a red dress. So the last thing is the framework. And I'm a realtor, so all of this just makes sense to me how God gave it to me. So you have your imagination, your blueprint, your foundation. That the foundation has to be solid. So that's where we build from. That's where we put our thoughts on, our foundation. The frame of the house. Right after you finish the foundation, you can start framing. And our framing is our word. What we say about everything, about anything concerning us. That is how we build our house. That is how we build our life. And the wonderful thing about it is that we don't even have to use our own words. We can use the word of God. Just imagine how powerful his words are versus our words. He's given us the power to use his words to create. Oh my God. Everything that came into existence in Genesis, God said. God said.
He
And
said,
God
yes.
said and he saw it. So Danielle said and she saw it. Morgan said and she saw it. You know what I'm saying? So there, I mean, that's a whole class. I don't have time to do the rest, but that's where I'm leaving it.
Well, make sure
by
you
the
let
way,
us know
she's
when
a
you do that
speaker for our
class.
next
I
event.
do.
We'll be there.
Speaker for
I'll
our
be
next
there.
event.
Can I get that
Grab
receipt,
your
though?
tickets.
Yes.
We'll walk in. We be
Yeah.
playing. We be like, we with her.
Yes.
Gabby, it's on you.
So I'm going to build off of what kind of everybody has said, and I'm also going to go with a scripture. So not even my mantra, but what I tell everybody is from Habakkuk 2 is write the vision, make it plain. You cannot expect anybody to help you if they can't understand your vision, if they can't see where you're going. And nobody can see where you're going if it lives in your head. So you need to write it out. And it also makes it clearer for you, because when things live in your head, you get confused, you might get distracted.
Yep.
You will accept things that are not on the right path for you, but you're like, oh, but it's an opportunity, but it's not the right opportunity for you.
Yeah.
So, not all money is good money. But
Not.
it's not because it's not meant for you, and that's a whole other thing.
But because some money, man. Okay, all right. Give me 5. I know I said 5, but give me 5 real quick. Have you? It make me think like, have you ever had to pivot from that goal or something and leave money on the table?
Yes.
Right? What emotions came with that? Like, what did you feel when you like the money is good, but I recently and Morgan, I recently went through something like that. But what emotions did you struggle leading up to that?
For me,
Somebody give me something.
I get people who still ask me all the time about doing social media, which is not what I do. I don't manage or create content for people. That's not my lane anymore. I used to. But I've learned that managing social media is not my strong suit. It's not where I'm happy. So when you get people that are asking, oh, can you take this project for me? No, I can't. Sorry. But I know somebody who can. And so while I get that moment of despair, like, dang, that would have been really good money, when I'm able to see that the person I recommended is working with them and is happy and is thriving in that project and is building that relationship to bigger and better things, it makes that despair dwindle away, because I know that if I had taken it, it would not be the same situation. It would have ruined the relationship. It would have bursted my bubble and made me happy. And my peace is the number one priority at the end of the day. So if I'm not happy, then it's not worth it.
Yeah, true. Morgan?
Which one we talking about?
Either or.
You switched them.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I switched that thing up. I just get on. You can get on in there. Whichever you want to speak to it, and then I'll give your tool and your trick your tool, tip, and strategy along
Okay,
with
that's
that you have the
so my tool, trick, strategy. My tool is find your own resources, which resource and tools kind of go hand in hand. Find those resources by creating sisterhood. That's kind of my tool and my trick. For me, I'm really big on giving women chances. Even if I'm not too sure about you or don't know much about you, I'm really big on creating kind of like Michelle said, being that bridge, like in a way, just kind of creating that connection with women because we don't know how we'll need each other down the line. So my trick and my trick for not even a trick, it's kind of common sense, but you also have to be willing to kind of make friends, right? But just making connections with sisters or women and being open to that. I know this is a little off topic, but we have this thing where like we can't talk to women because like women can't talk to women, because it's going to be somebody's upset or they might have attitude or she looked mean or whatever it might be. We have this whole thing going on sometimes, but just kind of breaking that and making a connection with the woman. Like, for example, I've never met Danielle. But I saw how she does so great with her social media. And I saw that, she hadn't had her face on too many flyers. And I was like, yeah, we're going to give her a chance. And so now she's speaking on a panel with us. It's something as simple as that, as just giving women, making connections and, sharing resources, but also finding your own, which will be easy to do. Like Gabby said, you're going to find, like, if your service doesn't work for me, it'll work for somebody else. And so that's easy connections that you're making just by making connections with other people. So what's my third thing before I go off topic again?
Okay. And now we're going to bring it back to when you have to leave some money on the table.
When I had to, that's easy. When they can't afford me, honey. They could go. That's my answer.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. Well,
it's real simple when they can't afford me.
No. What did you say?
When you open that door to discounting yourself, you have to continue to discount yourself.
Yeah,
correct.
And then in long run, that is, look at that. Yes, beautiful queens, empowered queens, empowered queens. Come on through, Brandy. Yes.
The people that can afford you. That's it.
Right.
That's it. Period.
That's just the end of that.
Yes. Because Louis Vuitton,
and that's something that actually I struggled with that because as an event planner, it was hard.
Say that again, Michelle. They don't have
sale. They don't go on sale. It's gonna be there when you can afford it.
Chanel went up. They
gonna be there when you can afford it
during the pandemic and stuff. People was out of work and they was still making their money. So don't sell yourself short. I think for me, mine would be with God, all things are possible.
Yes.
And when we settle in that, right, and reaffirm and go with that, with God, all things are possible, then we're able to then do what Michelle said, use our imagination to build that blueprint. You get what I'm saying? The foundation, the framework. And I just want to rehash a lot of the tools, tips, and strategies that was said because y'all offered a lot. Number one, have a vision, a goal, a plan. Go for it. Do it scared. Get the knowledge. Invest in yourself by getting mentors and, coaches. And that's how you essentially invest in your business because you're going to be better at it. Build a house. Use your imagination. It's the blueprint for the house. The foundation is the thoughts become things, right? Or is that the framework? Am I right, Michelle?
The foundation is your thoughts. Absolutely.
The thoughts become things.
Yes.
Write the vision, make it plain. If you're all over the place, how do you expect people to be able to come in and have a buy-in when you ain't even bought into yourself, baby?
You won't be able to do it.
Right.
Find resources through things like this: sisterhood, panels, collaboration, not competition. And last but least, remember, with God, all things are possible. Honey, I like to end my I like to say this at the end of each show, because it is called Eat, Laugh, Hustle. Remember, it's two things that they can't knock, and that's God's grace and your hustle. Be blessed. Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. I enjoyed each and every one of you guys. I would love to do this again, and just come through and be able to just talk. Like, this is how people learn and, fellowship. When we talk about
Yeah.
fellowshipping with each other,
Right.
in this new era of, world, this is how we do it. And it's nice to see brown faces on the screen dropping
Yes.
gems and knowledge, because representation matters.
Yes.
It matters.
It does. It does.
It does.
Mhm.
All right, ladies. Well, that's it. That's the end of our show.
I want to
Yeah.
follow y'all on social media.
Okay, everybody shout their social media out. Or
My
if you can, drop it in the chat.
Can we? My Instagram is the professional hustler.
The professional.
Okay.
It's like mine's my name. It's Miss MS Gabrielle Ann, so pretty easy.
And what is yours, Jay? I'm already following.
Yes, mine is JL Consulting.
JAEL.
JAEELLE.
One more time.
JAEELLE Consulting.
And I'm Michelle. Made it easy. And Reka, what about you?
I'm at Eat Laugh Hustle on Facebook,
Okay.
and Instagram and .com. So website, everything is Eat Laugh Hustle. And my personal is just Reka Leftridge. Kind of do both. I'm there dropping and being fun and just doing life.
What's your last name? The last name?
Leftridge, like your left hand and a mountain ridge all together.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yay. And so shout out to the African American Chamber of Commerce and female executives for sponsoring this event, to be able to step in and close out women's history the right way, is amazing. Hopefully you'll see us in the near future. And we thank you, Whitney, for coming on and rocking with us. I see Angela in there, Janae or Janae, I'm not sure. Dominic Ortiz said, ooh, it's all fats. We got Camille. We got some periods. Period. The price just went up. Yes. And so it was just, I'm looking at all the comments. They're giving us some round of applause. And so again, I just appreciate all you ladies. Take it away.
Thank you, ladies.